This is your complete MQl4 Programmer's Guide. I'm your teacher, Andre McClendon, and I'll be going through things step by step. During this guide, we'll be creating a trading strategy using the moving average, the MACD, the RSI, and the ATR. So, let's begin. First off, guys, when you open up your terminal, we need to go to MetaQuotes, top left-hand corner. I'm looking at this right here, creating a new expert advisor. We're going to call this Basic 101. And let me explain some of the things at the top. So when you're looking at your expert advisor that we're going to be creating today, when you look at the property lines, all this information will be in the beginning of your expert advisor. So if we just change this up to 2024 and just say, change it to my name, to Andre McClendon, and we change the website to just say Google. You can change anything you like. We can say google.com and version. You can change it if you want. And here you can also put a description also. So if you want to put a description in your robot, just do property, description. But from here you can type in information. This is an EA. Now we're going to hit compile. Now compile means basically it's checking for errors to make sure it works and also saving. So we have no errors so far. We're going to check our EA on pound yen, and to find our our expert advisor, just go to the navigator and look for our basic 101 and we'll check it out. You see it? We have copyright Andre 2004 and it comes up with Google, and this is the EA. Now I'll be breaking down the rest of this when we get there. So that's the basic of what the top is for up here. Now up here, usually people put in some of the things like different values that you can control. I'll get into that a little bit later when we get to the optimization of it. Now we're going to focus primarily on the OnTick because this is going to be a beginner's guide. Okay. Now during this guide, we're going to learn how to program a couple things that are very important. First thing that we need to learn is what is an int. Now an int basically comes out with a value of, let's see, of a range of this big number to this big number. So if you want a whole number, this is what you're going to be looking for. So if you want an int value, say you want to do an int of, we're going to call it 1, and then it's going to be int 1. It's going to equal 5. So every time you use this, you use the number 1, this int is going to come out to the value of 1. And we're going to learn something called comment, so we can get a visualization of what this means. So a comment basically is going to give you a print value of what this is on the screen. So we're going to type in 1, and then we're going to end it off with the semicolon. So we're going to type in 1 and semicolon. Okay. We're going to go back to our trader and we'll see that the number 5 popped up. We're going to go back, and then we're going to change it to 10, right? And see what it comes up. It comes up as 10. Now remember, ints are whole numbers. If you try to put in a decimal number, like 0.5, and we go back to here, to the terminal, it stays as 10. It doesn't round it up. It just cut it off. Now, if you want something to show decimal numbers, what you need to do is a double. A double looks like this. So we can make this one called car or fast or any word you want. And we can make it 1.568923 or whatever number you want. We hit compile. And if we want to display this in our comment line, we got to make sure we plus it right here. So we're going to be adding a string, which I'll break down in a second, or as our next bit of code. Just copy as I go. And we're going to type in car. Now this is not adding it, it's just putting them together on one stream of code. We're going to hit compile. Every time you make something, try to hit compile. And then we'll see here when it refreshes. Oh, I'm sorry, we hit refresh. In our strategy tester, forgot to hit auto trading. Make sure you type in auto trading right here. We have an error so far. Let's see, let's go back, hit compile. So you have 1 right here, plus car. We just add more space to it. And let's go back. See? 10 and 1.5689414. So if we go back, and we can actually change this. So if we want the ask price, we just type in ASK. So that's our ask. And you can see if we go back to the terminal, you see our ask price is 1.27 just about. And you can see it right here. It'll be updating in a second. You can also hit refresh. And now we have our ask price on there. Well, once it loads up. So now we have some basics, an int, a double, and a comment. Now if we want to print that same information but in our journal, we use something called print screen. And now we can do the same thing. We can do 1 plus, we're going to add this little space, and we're going to type in car. Or you can make it named anything you like. So now we'll have that same information that's in the top right of our screen right here. See how the ask price? In our journal. Go to our journal. And you see, go to experts. And you'll see the same information right there. See? And it's per tick. So it's just going to keep updating as it ticks. Okay? So we learned some other basics. And now we're going to see how we can use it in a different situation. We're going to get rid of this and use this as a comment line. So basically these two little vertical slash lines, 4 slash lines, make it like this code is not readable, okay? So once we do that, to get to some basics, we're going to learn how to do some addition on here before we get into our expert advisor, okay? We're going to be able to do 1, that's that int, plus, let's say 55, or 500, let's say do 55. We're going to hit compile. And it's going to do the math on there for us once it updates. And make sure you always hit compile, and it'll be 65. So it updated that into the top left-hand corner. So with that, you can do mathematics, you can print out, but comment is going to print it out right here. Now, we're going to transition to something a little bit easier. Our next code. And that's going to be our, our bool statement. Now, bools are extremely important. They make things either true or false. So let's make something, let's call this, basic. Alright. Just make sure it all matches up to make it a little bit easier. So just say, is 10 greater than 55? Now, if it's true, it's going to come out as on the top left-hand screen as false or true, depending on what you have. So we go back, it says false. If we put that into the print screen, we'll get that as a print screen. Now, if we want something to pop up, we can do this. We can do an alert. An alert is very similar to comment, print, is that alert will pop up as a window telling you that. So let's do this. We'll type in basic. And it should read as false. We hit that, and then on our terminal, it should pop up as false, 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 false. It's going to keep on doing that. So let's stop that real quick. We comment it out. So now we learned some of the other basics, the int, the double, the bool, and the comment. Now you guys can play around with different scenarios with that. Our next thing we're going to learn is our first if statement. And we're going to combine some of these things to make it a little bit more entertaining for us. So we're going to do this. And remember, bools either equal true or false. So if we make 10 less than 55, is going to read in the top left-hand corner. Oh, let me get this back. Alright, top left-hand corner as true. So we go back. It's going to pop up a lot. So we have true. Okay? Our next thing that we need to do is learn how to do an if statement. And we'll just break that down. So we're going to learn something called, and this is one of those pre-made functions. It's going to be called orders total. Now, if you want a list of a lot of these things, we're going to be looking at this, F1. There's a big reference. The reference can be by pressing F1, or I believe going through the tools or the help and just clicking MQl4 reference, okay? We're going to learn something that's going to help you guys out. And this is going to be how to use some of these equal signs. Now, in MQl4, this little equal sign basically means bool state, this bool called basic, equals this value. And it comes out as a true or false. Car equals the ask price. The int equals 10. Now, if we want to verify if this is correct, there's a couple things we want to learn. Now, we can go through the reference right here. Just to get a little view. And if we do double equals, we want to check if they equal, okay? Oops. Here we go. So these operations of relation, basically double equals verifies and asks the computer, do they equal each other? Question mark with the equal sign says ask if they are not equal to each other. We have the greater sign or less sign, greater than or equal to, or less than or equal to. Now, these situations are great for bool statements and also if statements, okay? So let's get out of here. Now, we're going to check if, and we're going to use orders total in a little bit. Let's check if the one int is greater than, okay, let's say the car or the ask price. Now, make sure we put our brackets, and our brackets basically what we're going to read within here. See, we have our if statement and our brackets right here. Okay. And then with our brackets, we're going to do this. If this is true, we'll do print. Oh, actually, we'll do, let's get rid of this comment. We'll do this. We'll do comment. And that's going to print in the top left screen. And we're going to put a string. Now, a string basically is just what you want to be written. Yes, this is true. Now, this is a string right here. And let's create a string also down here, up here. String. And we're going to call this value. Now, we can type in here, make sure you start with quotation marks. Yes, this is true, as we're currently doing now. And make sure your semicolon. And if this statement is true, if 1 is greater than car, yes, this statement is true. Or we can get rid of that and just type in value. And if we do that right there, we have on the top left-hand screen, yes, this is true. Now, we're going to have something else is that if it's not true, we're going to have something called an else statement. So if this or else. Okay, and if this else statement is true, we can say comment and we'll type in no, it is not true. And if we do that, and let's just change it up to here, reverse it, and we know that 1 equals 10 as this variable, and car is the ask price. If it's not true, it's going to go to this else statement saying, no, it is not true. No, it is not true. We have that in the top left-hand corner, okay? So now I went over the basics of how to use an if statement and else, how to use a string, a bool, and a char and an int. Now we have some of the basics into how to use some basic orders, or basic use of the MQl4 language. Now we're going to create something. Let's create an order. Because we have the basics up here, and this order is very important. So, because we want to learn how to place a trade. Now, before we place a trade, we want to make sure that is there any other trades available out there? Is there anything out there? So we're going to use this function called OrderStotal I spoke about earlier in the video. Now, OrderStotal, if we double click it and do here, go to this, it's an int. So what does that mean? An int is a whole number. It will read out how many whole numbers there are out there. Okay? Or how many orders are out there. Now, if we have none, let's just verify. I'll show you how it works. Let's just put this as a print statement. We get rid of this right here. Hit compile. Oh yeah, I'm going to get rid of this real quick. Comment that out. If we go to our expert folder, all right, and we'll see up here, Basic 101 that has an unhappy face. Let's remove that. Expert advisor real quick and add it back. We're going to have a happy face now. If you have a happy face in the top right hand corner, you're doing good. So you see that 0 right here, how it keeps popping up? Here. That's our orders total. So telling that there's no orders out there. So we look at our trade account, there's no orders. See? We go to our experts, there's no orders. So that's what that is looking for. So we're going to actually make our first order. So I talked about this before a little bit earlier. Now we're going to use something called double equals. We're going to verify it and ask if the computer asks the trader, is there any orders? We're going to put double 0. So if it is true, we can go through the code. Okay. Now we put our brackets. Make sure you always put your brackets, and we'll start with an int. Now it's important we start with an int because our int is going to be the beginning of our order function. We're going to do a by. Now we're going to compile this on to our overall strategy. Let's go over the basics. So when we get to our strategy, we can add our indicators. Okay, but just to give you guys a little function. So first thing we need to do is do a by order right here. We're going to call it our by, and we're going to do OrderSend. Okay. Now OrderSend is very easy to understand. This is the basic of how you should program it if you want the information, but I'll walk you through it. All right. We're going to do an instant execution by order, hence the name. Now we're going to use something I haven't talked about now. It's called null. Now, null is basically a default. It's going to work on all the availabilities out there. So we're going to put null right here. So it's going to work on all currency pairs available. See? All symbols. So if you have pound yen, NASDAQ, it's going to work on all currencies or CFDs by your broker. Now, the INTCMD, this is going to be what type of order do you want to put in? So we're going to do, and we're going to go back over here to go to which one we're going to use. We're going to use an instant execution by. So we have different types. We either can put a 0 in there, a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or we can do OP buy, OP sell, buy limit, sell limit. And if you guys do a pending order, I'm going to let you guys know prior to getting to it that you're going to have to put in some time variables to make sure that it works with the pending order. Okay, so we're going to use a OP buy. That means instant execution buy, and I'll show you that once we get there. Our volume is basically the size of our trade. We're going to use a 0.01. Now our price is we're going to enter off the ask price. Now I'll show you guys what the ask price is up here, but if you guys don't know, I will show you guys in a second when we get to that part of the screen. Now our slippage is basically when the broker receives the order, and we don't want it to take so long for it to say the market moves and we're trying to put our order in. If it moves too far away past our slippage point, basically it won't inactivate the order. So we're going to put it as at 10 as default. But now our stop loss is going to be pretty easy because we're on our currency pair of pound dollar. So if you guys don't know about pips yet, what we can do is make it very easy. We're going to do the ask and just follow this one. I'm going to explain it a little bit through. We're going to do 50 pips stop loss and the take profit plus 0.0. Let's do 150 pips. I'll explain this part once I get to the screen, okay? Now, a comment is when you have your order, is going to have a comment on there talking about, you guys can search by comment saying, or put an ID with the order. But for this example, we're going to put null. Our magic number, basically kind of like our social security number of our order. So we're going to put like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to put 0 for the pending order because this is an active order. And our last part is the color. So we're going to put underscore, lowercase, CLR, or we're going to use blue, BLUE. Now, it will give you a list that you can click on, long as the first letter of the color is capitalized. And we're going to put blue. And that's it so far. So when we get to our terminal, we have no errors because we're going to have an order that's initiated, okay? We're going to go back. See how we have an order right here? Pound, yen, dollar. And we zoom out. You can see that we have our stop loss and our big take profit. Let's see. And we can zoom out a little bit. And we'll go to the weekly. Apparently, we have our take profit as 2.7. That's impressive. So, it's all how you program it. You can make a massive target profit. We can go back to the code because I think I got confused about the about the take profit. Take profit would be, that's a lot of pips. We can do 0.150. And when we go back to here, because the order won't go through, because remember, it's double checking. We'll go back, we'll delete the order. Make sure you hit your terms and conditions. And it's going to immediately, once the order's closed, input another one. See? And once that loads, we can hit like refresh, make it go a little bit faster. See how we have our red line right here? And I'll move it over so you guys can see it a little bit better. Okay. If you see it right here, we can zoom in. And if you guys want to change the color of the screen, go to F8 or hit right click and hit properties right here. And then you guys can change your color scheme. I like black on white typically. A little bit easier for me to see. And we can see that this line right here is our order entry. And this line right here is our stop loss. And that's our take profit. And if we hover over it, we can see in a little bit more right here, see? You can drag it and modify it if you like. Okay? And that's how we initiate our first order, okay? Now, the next thing you have to do, because we're making a trading strategy with this, so we can learn very slowly, is how to add our first moving average. If you guys do not know what a moving average is, it looks just like this. We're going to use basic, easy settings, guys. We're going to use 20 for a period, move off the simple, and we're going to make it just off the close, and there we go. This little red line right here. Let's make it a little bit thicker, okay, so you guys can see. So this red line right here is our simple moving average. And basically, once the moving average exceeds is below the price, the current price, we want to buy. Okay? Because we're going to make this a very simple EA. Okay? And we're going to add the other indicators as more to our checklist. Okay? So let's add our first thing in there. So it's going to make this very simple. We're going to make a comment line right here, and then dash, and just put this as indicators. Okay, and then we're going to create our first indicator. And indicators are going to be a double, okay, typically. And we're going to call this moving average. Now, our moving average is going to use an inbuilt function called iMA. Okay. Now let's look at what iMA equals to. Okay. So iMA is going to have all these little things. The symbol, right? Typically, if you want to put it on a specific symbol, you can type that in there, or use null. Our time frame, we're going to use the default settings. If we click on the enum for the default settings, 0. So if you change your default, if you change it to the 1 minute to the 5 minute, and you want it to stay the same and just update it, just use 0. If you want it to be on a specific time frame, you can use one of these right here. Okay, let's go back. Go back. If you want our shift and our MA and applied, we go through here. And I'll give you an example how that looks like, okay? So let's go back to our moving average. So if we want it to be as simple as it currently is, we'll just click simple. If we want it to be linear, see how it's different? Let's go to exponential. So if you want it to be simple, the video example, we do that. If you wanted to cover more candles, you just type in a bigger number. So here's 20 before. Here's 100. A little bit slower, but it's up to your strategy. But for this strategy, we're going to use 20, okay? Go back to here. So let's type in our moving average. We're going to use parentheses, and we're going to type in null. Okay, our next thing is our time frame is going to be default 0. Our period is going to be 20. Now, our MA shift is going to be 0, okay? Our enum method, now we can either type in the letter, we type in 0, or we can go back to here and type in mode SMA. You guys can use simple moving average or 0, code EMA or 1, or 2 or 3. They're both do the exact same thing, okay? Let's type that in right here. Our next thing is apply price, and we can either type it in with a 0 or just copy and paste it here. You can go off the open price, the high price, the low price, the median, typical, or weighted price. It's up to you. But for example, we're going to use close price. We're going to learn on the shift. Now, this is important when looking up from indicators. When using the indicator right here, this shift is basically indicates where do you want it on the candle. So if we do a shift of 0, it's going to be on that current candle. That means when we get our value, we're going to be on this candle. If you want to shift to 1, it'll be up here. Shift to 2, shift to 3, shift to 4. Basically, the more shifts you go back, it'll go back. So you do a shift to 10, it's reading off the 10th candle. Okay? And we're going to use parentheses and back. Now, if you guys made it to this far of the video, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. And if any questions so far, drop a comment below, and I'll get to you guys. Or just join the Discord or Telegram, and you can talk to me or the group directly. Now we have our moving average. And with our moving average, we're going to do a bool to make it very simple to understand, okay? So our bool will be here. We're going to do MA pass, okay? We have equal signs. So remember, it's either going to read true or false. Okay? Now, if the moving average is less than the ask, then we can have an indication to enter our trade, okay? And then we can put this in here. And we're going to use something I haven't showed you guys before, an AND statement. That means two ANDs statements will basically say this. If the orders total equals 0 and MA pass right here equals true, then we can do our OrderSend. Okay? Let's see. Our next thing is that we're going to add another indicator. All right, we start off with our double. And it's going to be the MACD, the MACD. Now, once we get our MACD is very simple. It's iMACD. Okay? Now, the iMACD has very easy settings. We can do symbol, time frame, fast-moving average, slow-moving average, and basic settings here. Now, let's look at it on our terminal over here. Because we're going to add the MACD, MACD. And look at our inputs. We have a 12, a 26, and a 9. We're going to use those same settings, okay? Default settings. And that's our MACD. And we're going to be using just the histogram, not the signal line. And it has two modes. Histogram, the vertical lines, and signal mode, which is the red lines. Now, when it comes to this, guys, we're going to be using, once it crosses positive for the histogram, we have another indication to enter our trade. Okay? So let's go back to MetaQuotes. Our Meta Editor. We're going to start off with very easy. Null. Time frame, guys, remember 0. Our fast is 12. Our slow is 26, just like before. And our implied for was 9. I believe so. Let me double check. Yes, 9. So now we got our periods. Now our applied price too. Now what we can do is go back to here, go to our enum applied price, and click the close price. Go back, type that in right here. And our mode, we're going to make sure that, because remember the MACD has two modes. Alright, we looked for it. So we have other things with the MACD, the RSI, and stochastics, RVI. We're going to use the mode signal, mode main. You can either put 0 or mode main. Put that here. And our shift is going to be current candle, like the moving average. And now we're going to do a bool and do MACD pass. Okay? And we're going to do this. If the MACD is greater than 0, it's going to read as true. And if this is true, we're going to get into our trade right here. Double equals, make sure it's 2 equals, not 1. And if equals true, now you can type in false if you'd like to, also if you want to change it up. But for here, we can type in true. And it's going to ask this if statement. If the orders total equals 0, that means there's no orders that are active or pending, and MA pass, which is right here, equals 0, equals true, and our MACD pass is true, then we can enter our order. Our next thing that we're going to do is add in our other indicator, our RSI. Now, our RSI. Now, RSI also has its inbuilt code called iRSI. Now, if you guys want to know the same thing, it's pretty much the exact same setup. So we go back to our terminal. We go back to the RSI. And our inputs are very easy. Just a period. Okay? And we're going to make sure that if the RSI is above the 30, we can buy. Okay? You guys can change the value to whatever you like, but for this example, we're going to make it like this. We're going to do null. Our time frame, remember 0, default. Our period, 14. And our applied price, well, we want it off the close, like we have here. And we're going to be doing our shift. What's our shift? 0. All right, now we're going to do our bool to make it very easy to understand what's happening. It's going to be RSI underscore PASS. And if this is true, if the RSI is greater than 30, then we have another indication to enter our trade. And RSI double equals true. So now we have another factor to another confirmation. We have the MACD, the RSI, and the moving average. Now, we want to make sure that our stop loss can change too. Maybe we want our stop loss to be a little bit different, so we're going to use the ATR. Now, if you guys don't know what the ATR is, the ATR is a very standard ATR indicator. It's on all MetaTraders, pretty much. And we're going to use 14 as a default. And it basically gives us the average amount of pips of basically what's happening here. So we have a lot. If it moves really fast, they will go up. If it moves really slowly, it will go down. Okay? Doesn't tell you direction, just tells you the amount, the average. We're going to use this as a trading strategy here. Okay? Our next thing we need to do is program the ATR. So remember, double. We type in ATR. And if you haven't realized, yeah, it's going to be iATR. And if you guys want the information, please go to the reference. You can type in null underscore, time frame is 0, period is going to be 14 as the default, and a shift equals 0. Now, we're not going to use this as an indication to enter or exit the trade. We're going to help use this for our stop loss and take profit. Now, remember, our stop loss goes under the order, and our take profit goes above the order, okay? So, we're going to do a parentheses, and we're going to do the ATR times, let's say do 4 times the ATR, and here will be Control V ATR, and times, let's say 10. We're going to hit compile, and we'll check it out to see if it works. Go back to our trader right here, and we're going to close this order out, put a new one in, and you'll see that if all these are true, we'll enter our trade. See? If you look at it, and we get rid of the terminal real quick. Zoom out a little bit. You can see that our ATR is currently at, if we do Control D, it gives you our values. And I'll scoot over so you guys can see a little bit easier. You can see that the ATR is currently at 0.01567. So if we do a calculator of 0.01567 times 4, it should read out as 0.06. So we go to our order, just about, see, 0.06, that's about, and that's what the ask price. And if we do the other one, 0.06, it should be all the way up to about 600, see, of our current price. Pretty neat, right? So you guys can have a target profit and stop loss controlled by the ATR. So we're not done yet with our robot. Let's get to the next part. And if you have any questions, once again, guys, drop it below. I'll get to them as much as I can. And join the Telegram or Discord if you want to get into the trading group. So we covered some good basics: double, bools, print statements, alerts, and how to use a comment. Now, let's say this. Just say our order doesn't go through. What you guys can do is type out and do else. Just say it doesn't go through because for whatever reason. You guys can also put in here kind of like an error thing. You guys can put in here an if. So I'm sorry, not if. So if this doesn't go through here, we can do a print or do a comment. Let's do we can do a print and be like this. If orders total doesn't equal 0, we can say this. Orders, total orders, equals, hit plus, that. And if it's greater than 0, once again, it has to be 0, we'll get an else statement saying this right here. And if our MA pass equals, we'll even check it out. It's been pinned right here. MA pass equals, we'll hit plus. And so if our order doesn't work for whatever reason, and I'll show you guys how it works. We can put MACD right here. Pass equals, all right, plus MACD pass. And our last one we'll put down here. And this will be RSI pass. Now, if these don't work and something ends up being wrong, we can read the print statement telling us why we don't have that extra order. So we'll go to our terminal. I'll go back to experts. And we can read orders total equals 1, MACD pass equals true, and RSI equals true. So we know that it has to be equal 0. So you can kind of make it like a fault code telling you if something comes out that's not right. Okay? So now we're going to cover some other things to help our robot get a little bit better. We're going to learn how to do a function, okay? Now, a function is basically something we look right here. Orders total, and we're like, okay, I want to make sure that the orders total can be called anywhere in the formula. So what that means is this. It's called the stack. If we try to ask the computer what MA pass equals, let's say we do a print screen here. Okay? We'll do print MA screen, MA, and then we hit semicolon and hit compile. We'll get an error. It says right here, undeclared identifier. So if we want to use something all throughout the code, right, and not just under it, we're going to need to make a function. And we're going to make a very easy function called, we'll make it a bool, and we're going to call it which orders are open. How many are open? How many are open? We do a parentheses under, and this is, and we're going to need the most important thing, the return. Okay? So we're going to return this. We're going to do a simple thing, and we're going to do an if orders total, for example, equals 0, we're going to need something in here to return back. I'll show you how that is. Let's return, let's just do double basic or double X. Let's just do double X. And it will make X equals 0. Oh, actually, since we're doing ints, okay. Now this we're gonna make it a little bit different, but just to show you guys how to make this into a bool. Actually, I put how many. We'll make it into an int. My bad. And our next thing is, if it equals 0, we'll put 0. Or you're gonna see even put that as a return. But we're gonna add this. I'll add more to this, okay? And if, and we're gonna make it return X. We need to get rid of this real quick up here. I already got rid of it. Okay. So once if this is true, it basically, if it's not true right here, X will always equal whatever it is. So if it's not equal to that, then here. And then else, or actually you can just make it easier. Right here. Orders equals, if it's greater than, or equal to, or if it's greater than 0, we can put as X as orders total. I mean, there's so many combinations that you can make it as. You can just put how many orders are open. You can put X equals orders total, for example. And now, anytime you pull X, X will return as 0. So you can just do a print. You can just do plus, instead of having this here, you can just put X. See? Let me see. X is upon, I'm sorry, you put this right here. And now, how many trades are open? It'll print out X, which will be how many orders are trade. Now, you guys can put a variable in there, and you can put a variable to check in there. I mean, there's a lot of things we can do, but this is a very simple thing to do for variables. Okay? And also, if you want to make it a bool statement to check, you guys can do the same thing. We can do bool, and then say, let's do also, let's just do bool or int x, and do if, okay, and if x is, let me see, we're doing how many, let's change the wording to, are there orders open? There. Are there orders open? Alright, that's probably a little bit easier just to program that. So make sure you change this right here too, so they repeats. So are there orders open? Alright, X will equal orders total, and if, okay, if our orders total equals true, so if X is greater than 0, then we're going to have a bool statement, and we're going to create a bool right here. Bool, and be like, say, just put it as a letter, put Y, and put equals, put bool Y, and if X, which is to orders total, is greater than 0, then bool, then Y equals true. But if else, right, Y equals false. And if it's greater than 0, cool. If it's equal to 0 or less, equals false, and make sure you put our semicolon, and boom, that's it. That's how you make a simple function, okay? Make sure you have a return, and we can put this anywhere. Here, orders total, you guys delete this and put orders total. Boom. So now I covered some things about how to create an indicator, bool statements, ints, print statements. Our next objective would be digits. So if you want to calculate digits, let's get rid of these right here. Comment these out. Let's comment this out. No, we can keep that in there. Let's do this right here. All right, so digits. We're going to do print. We're going to type in, remember, use a string inside digits. Basically, the digit shows you how many digits are in our currency pair. And I think it's very important to use digits as a factor of how many pips something can be, okay? So, digits, over here, we're going to do plus dig digits. And now when we look at our print screen, go back to here, go back to here. Alright, so we have our order still open right now. And we're going to hit refresh, make sure it's running, not remove. And we'll have our our total orders, and we'll see digits equals 5. And if we go to specification over here, you'll see that our digits equal 5. So when you look right here, 1.33890, our digits category right here will tell us how much is 1 pip. So in here, 100 pips is 0.1, and if you want 1 pip is 0.01. 50 pips, 0.05. Okay, so if you wanted to add something in here, like this, and I'll show you guys how to add a little bit more to our pair, let's do this. Instead of using the ATR as our stop loss and our take profit, let's do this right here. Let's give it a extern. Let's do this in int. And we're going to call this stop loss pips. All right. And if we want to change it, and I'll show you guys in a second, stop loss pips. We're going to do 25 pips and int target profit, and let's do 100. Okay, hit compile. Now, when we go to our trader, our expert advisor, we go to properties, or you can just hit F7. Right? We don't have anything to change. We need to put something in there. We're going to call it extern. Extern allows you to change the values. And I'll show you this in Strategy Tester in a second. Okay. So when we go back to here and go to our expert advisor, or press F7, we have inputs. We can change our stop loss or our take profit. Let's do that now. So how do we do that without the program having errors? Okay. So what we can do is go to here. Let's get rid of our little what's in our stop loss right here. We copy our information from the stop loss right here. So our stop loss is 25 pips. But if we minus 25 from the current ask price, it's not going to work. So we need to convert it with the digits. Okay? So if we do something like this, digits. So 25, right? That's not going to work. So we need to convert it over. So it's 5. So what we can do is divide it. Actually, we cannot do that. Give me a second. If we have 25 as our stop loss, right? And we have to convert it back again. 25 times. Oh, okay. That's pretty easy. We need our digits to be used right here. So let's create a function for that, okay? So we have our print statement. Let's create a function, and it's going to be a double, okay? And this is a very simple way of doing a conversion for this, okay? And we're going to call this pips. Okay. We put our parentheses right here. Return. Make sure you always put a return. And we're going to call this double X. Actually, yeah, double X. And we're going to always put X as the return. Okay, let's do that first so we make sure we don't ever mess up. So our next one is going to be another int, and it's going to be Y, and it's going to be equals to digits. Okay, and we'll just make it very simple. Okay, digits, and we're going to make this all if statements. Okay, if digits, right, equals, we'll start off on a high, 6, okay? Then, go here. Our X equals 0.0123, 1. Okay, cool. That's our denomination right here, okay? Sorry, I got a little chat in box. Right here. So we will put So when we do 5, remember 1 pip, if this was 5, so let's go back, let's do it 5. If it's 5, let's go delete this. This is 100 pips. This is 10 pips. This is 1 pip. And then we put the 0 right here. Okay? And it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right here. Okay? Our next thing would be, if we want to do other currency pairs, to make sure that we type our stuff in, we just keep copying it. Copy it down. Copy it down. And now we'll do this as 4, 3, oops, 2, and 1. I don't think there is any other one, but just an example. So if we do 4, we just type this away and delete 1, 0, 3, 2, we just delete the zeros and just put this right here. And I don't think there is a 1, but just put 2. And we hit compile. So when we get our number, it's going to read out as 0.005. We want 25 pips, so we just do this right here. And we just do multiply by pips. Oh, sorry. Is it PIPS? Yeah. Oh, lower. Make sure you do your parentheses. And now we can't see over here. Let me move it down here a little bit. And I'll hit enter so you guys can see. Let's get rid of this real quick. Alright, and then we'll get rid of the ATR. And we'll do it by target profit times pips. We'll put this comma down here. So now we have our programs working pretty good. We'll be able to control our stop loss and take profit. Hit compile. Now we still have our order, and we're going to go to our properties. We're going to make our stop loss have 100 pips, and our take profit have 300 pips. Now we still have our order open, so it's not going to change the order yet. So we're going to hit close the order. Okay. And it's going to enter our order again off the next tick, and you'll see. See? Now our order, our stop loss is 100 pips, and our take profit is 300. Just as our settings right here. 100, 300. Okay? So that's how we use basically our global up here using extern. You guys can change this to whatever you like. There's very basic settings. Well, here's our settings for our indicators for the moving average, the MACD, and the RSI and ATR. Okay. How we do our comment, how we do our orders total into our order. Okay. How to create 2 different functions, a bool function, and also how to use a currency conversion right here. What else is on the list? All right, guys, we're going to create a for loop. Now, for loop makes you something you can get something to check over your current orders or check over your past entries. But for this example, we're going to show how to check over current orders, okay? We're going to do int I equals orders total, okay? Orders total. Now, if that's true, given that's true, if I is greater than or equal to 0, and we're going to do I plus plus. I'm sorry, I minus minus. Now, what this for loop is going to do is going to scan through and select our order based off its kind of like its social that I gave it earlier. And that's going to be this one right here, that magic number, that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, we're going to copy that. We're going to do an if, prior to that, we're going to do if our magic number, we're going to order select. So basically, order select, what that does is select our active orders, okay? We're going to do index of I, so our position of I, so based on from here to here. So if I goes from 1, right, or here, we're going to make sure it matches, okay? Off of the current position. If I equals that, and we're going to do select by position. And if this equals true, make sure I'm right, yeah. I forgot one thing. Mode trades. And we're going to make sure the mode trades work. So for our order select, we can go through here for our index and break down for index select, and we're going to do mode trades. You guys can do anything else right there. And you can just select by position, but we're going to select by the current position. So there's 0 order, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and it just keeps on going down. Once we do that, we're going to select the order even more. We're going to do another if. And if magic number that I said before, the magic order magic number equals our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Based on we selecting that order, we are going to do a let's say print string, print, and say yes, we found the order. And if you have like 50 orders open and you wanted to find just one order to modify or find, you guys can do something like this right here. So it'll scan through and find our order. So let's go back to AvaTrade and go through here to our terminal. Go to experts. See? Yes, we found the order. So even if I go over here and add in, just say I go to Swiss franc and I just do Alt-T. And I just do a buy order. So I did 2 buy orders. What it's going to do is still scan through and still find if our order is there. See? Yes, we found the order. Okay? That's a simple way of using a... That's a simple way of using... Oh, here we go. That's a simple way of using our for loop. And if we wanted to add more things into it, you guys can select by and order comment. You guys can look up orders by order comment. You guys can look up orders by pending time. There's a lot of things you can look up orders on. You can look up orders by take profit, look up orders if they're in profit, and then do a modify code. There's a bunch of things we can do with that, but this is very simple how to use a for loop, okay? Oh, how to use strategy tester. So let's see if our strategy tester, our strategy works, okay? And we're using it on pound yen, but remember we converted it so it can work on any currency pair, okay? Let's go back to here, and to go to strategy tester is Control R, or go to View and go to strategy tester. So the first thing we're going to test out over here is our basic 101. We're going to use pound yen. All right. We're going to run this off of let's do the 30 minute. Off of a $10,000 account. Sure. And I'll go through the optimizations in a second, okay? Now, we have a couple things we need to look at. First thing is our symbol. We're using pound dollar, so you can click what symbol you want. Every tick. So there's 3 options. Every tick that's going to be detailed, very slow, but very, very on point, very accurate. This is going to be slower, it's a little bit faster, but it's not going to be as accurate. And open prices only, pretty much, is going to be, if your strategy only uses open prices, then use that. But if you don't use it, if you use it on, it's going to be inaccurate, but very fast. Okay? We're going to hit start on the bottom right handle. Now it's going to take some time to load. And if it does take some time to load, just be patient. It is calculating a lot. And I'll show you guys, once you guys use optimization, it's going to take even a little bit longer than that, okay? But optimization is going to give you more of a better strategy tester at the same time. And in this process, you guys can download your history to make it go faster, okay? See how it's saying collecting right here? Running off the 30-minute, you guys can control the dates. See how we entered our trade? Hit pause. We go to F7, change our, F8 and change our colors. Okay. And if we zoom out a little bit, we can see that our trade entered in right here, right off the bat. See how we entered off here? 100, 400, I believe, or 600, one of the two. If we hit play, you can see that the trade is moving. But if we want to slow it down a little bit, see? Make it go fast, slow it down. Make it go fast, slow it down. Okay? We'll bring our bar over here so you guys can see. And if we want to add our indicators, since they're all basics, we hit pause. We'll hit we'll hit 20. We'll hit our MACD. Okay. Also, our ATR. We're not using it currently, but we can add that in there. And our RSI. Now we will zoom out on here a little bit. And we'll just run it. Now this is a very easy beginner tool, guys, in using MetaTrader. And I hope this beginner guide helps you out. And if you have any questions or comments, once again, drop them below or join the Discord or Telegram. Contact me or anyone in the group, and we can talk about this, because I really wanted to make this guide as user-friendly and make it as fast as friendly so you can learn how to program and basically control your own strategies. Now, we can add a little bit more about how to close entries or add entries, but those are going to make it a little bit more complex. But if you guys want that, I can do a part 2 to this. And if once it gets stopped out, or if it gets stopped out, it won't enter the trade until all these things are positive anymore, okay? Let's see if it does that. We have a very, very big, wide range. You're talking about nearly 200 pips, I believe, for the stop loss. So the stop loss over here is, so our stop loss is 25 pips times by pips, so 25. 2.5, so here, it should be 25 down here. Now, if I got the conversion a little bit off, maybe I did 250 pips. It's okay. The basic thing about it is understanding how to program that stuff, and you'll be able to adjust it. See, once you hit stop, it'll bring up the same things right here before. So we hit start, and then if you hit stop, and if you hit journal again, it'll print out that same information, okay? Let me see. Once it gets loading the history. And you guys can adjust these things right here to make sure it's more accurate, okay? Time digits right here. So 25 pips is our stop loss. Take profit over here, 100. He has to change it up to 200. So the next time he does his order. And let's see. Now, if you wanted to go faster to check, turn off visual mode right here. And then you guys can go to here and just run that. So it'll run even faster. So you get the same results without watching it anymore, okay? So if we go through here in our graph, you see that it entered our order in right here. See? We took a loss. It's actually a little bit greater for the 250 pips. Yep, see? Big win. Now, in this time frame, there's what's called, see, right here, 0.001. It doesn't go over like swap values or how much we're getting paid or owed. So remember that there's always a swap long and swap short. You can program that, but this is a basic video, so I'm not going to go too much into detail just to show you about those, okay? And you'll see that if we run our strategy for our time frame from here to here, we took 2 trades, and they did pretty good so far for that short amount of time frame. But once again, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. This is the master class for learning how to program in MQl4. It's a very basic video. And if you want a part 2, let me know. But I went over pretty much the majority of things that you will be doing while programming, creating functions. You guys can modify this function if you like. Or creating how to enter an order, how to modify those orders, how to put in indication values right here. But thank you guys for making it to the end of the video, and I'll see you guys on the next one.